I'm not gonna lie to you, I just recorded this whole video without sound. I feel dumb. So hello, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know who I am, I'm Lucy Moon, your online agony aunt and big sister. And today I thought I would answer, ooh, this is so beefy. Sorry, there's a big argument going on outside my house. I thought I'd answer some advice questions because I was all ready to leave. I'm going to do my friend Millie's, not podcast, radio show in about 15 minutes. So this is a fast-filled video. How do I let go of worrying about what others think of me and start to measure progress on my own terms? I think that's a really good question because I think the biggest thing you can bear in mind when you're saying, oh, I compare myself to others all the time, is so does everyone else. You are not unique in this situation, and that's actually a positive because you're not alone. Everybody struggles with this. There's lots of advice online and through friends and through family. If you talk to people about it, they will be able to help you, basically, I think, and offer their own pearls of wisdom and their own advice on what to do. For me personally, the best thing I can do is unfollow that person or that thing that I'm comparing myself to on Instagram, on Facebook, on whatever. I mute people, I block people, I mute words on Twitter. For me, it's ruthless because that's the only way that I can feel better. And I'll do that temporarily for like a couple of months, just until I stop obsessing or comparing myself to that thing or person or whatever. And if someone confronts me about it, which has happened before, I just explain really calmly, like, this is nothing about you, it's all about me. I'm sorry that this can be something that can be read in a way that offends you. Totally get if you're offended. I'm sorry, it is on me. Like, this is about my personal development and it's not about you at all. You're fine, keep going with your life. What do you do when you start to feel a bit bored with your fashion/style? This is a great question because one of the limitations of having a capsule wardrobe is I do often look at it and go, oh, I feel like I'm investing in these pieces to last, but like, what if I get tired? I'm still discovering my style so much. So what I do is I buy an accessory. This is if I'm like stuck, I feel really stuck in it. So I buy an accessory that I feel will kind of change the whole feeling of my wardrobe, and it makes such a difference. So for example, I bought these earrings the other day. They're about £20 and I absolutely love them, and I want to wear all my clothes just with these earrings, and it makes me feel so much better. Another good example is a pair of shoes. If you buy a pair of shoes, it can change like every single outfit in your wardrobe and you feel so inspired and so fresh. The same with a bag. One thing can just make such a difference to every other item. Invest in one thing. It doesn't have to be expensive. It can just be a little bit of jewelry, but I really feel like it will change your relationship with what you have. How do I reduce the amount of money I spend? I feel like I always have nothing left by the end of the month. This is a great question. This is hard. So as you may or may not know, I was at uni in London, and so I was living off a student budget and a student loan in one of the most expensive cities in Europe. I have a couple of things that I would recommend. I might make a whole video about budgeting actually, because I got really good at it towards the end. And even now I do a lot of the stuff that I did do then as well. So I think in London at least, and it might be the same for other cities and other towns, the three things you spend the most on are transport, and then food and drinks when you're out and about. So you need to reduce those three costs. The first thing I do is research your local transport and work out how best you can get around for the cheapest. So for me, that would be getting an Oyster card and linking my Oyster card with my 16 to, I think it's 30 now, rail card, which is pretty much all my audience. If you're in the UK and you're watching my videos, you're probably between the ages of 16 and 30. Invest in a rail card and then connect it to your Oyster, and that instantly reduces your transport costs by a third, I think. And then when it comes to eating and drinking out, I would say bring more stuff to your house. So normally you go for a meal at a certain restaurant, why don't you invite everyone over for dinner? And normally people are also in a similar situation to you financially. So if you're like, come to mine for dinner, they're like, yes, I'll pay £3 towards the food. And then you save so much more money and you have a meal at home. And the same with drinks. Maybe go for one drink at a really nice bar near your house, and then go back to your house and have the rest of your drinks with your friends. I don't think I really ever bought drinks out when I was in uni. I was a pure like bottle of wine at home kind of person. I'm single after a long-term relationship. How do I deal? So I'm sorry your relationship ended. It fucking sucks. I didn't deal with it that well when my long-term relationship broke up, but that's because I was also coming off my pill, which made I felt absolutely out of body, and it was really, really hard. But I found that the best thing I could do was keep busy, like seeing my friends a lot, seeing family, going to stay with my family, trying to work a lot, be busy in the evenings, and that kind of, whilst also distracting me, made me really like realize the value in those other relationships as well, which made me feel kind of like I hadn't lost as much. And then I'd also be like, cut yourself some slack is the other thing, because it's tough. Don't expect to just be like, oh, I'm better and I'm fixed. It doesn't work like that. It often takes months and months and months to get over someone. So embrace it. Watch sad films and have a cry, you know, watch a rom-com and just feel like shit for a day. If that is a way of processing, and it's important that you let yourself process your breakup. Another thing I'd say is don't get drunk every day. I went sober, and that was the best thing I could have done, because I had to process feelings when they arrived. I couldn't hide from them. I have this job which I don't really like. Should I just quit and find a new one, or just bear with this one? That's so hard. So jobs are really difficult, and I've only ever had part-time work. I've never had a full-time role in a company, so I might not be the best person to ask about this. However, something I have learned recently is that when I was growing up, my parents always told me that you should really know what you're trying to do at the beginning. And I was not able to do that. However, kind of when I became like 16-ish, I realized I really loved YouTube and I really loved music. And my parents were very encouraging, and they were like, you know what, just do what you're passionate about. And I wish I'd realised sooner, like when I was maybe 13, 14, 15, because I would have put so much more energy into those things that I really loved. And I think ultimately you've got one fucking life. And like, you should embrace what you really enjoy doing as much as you can. You know, if you want to have your babies, have your babies. Like, this is not necessarily to do with work, but all these people live off all this wisdom of like, oh, you should have your children when you're 30. No, if you want to have your children when you're 23, have your children when you're 23. Try and pursue the thing you love that also is financially viable, or try and find a middle ground there, because ultimately every single year come January, you'll think about that thing you wanted to do, and you'll think about like, oh, this year I'm going to try and put my all into doing this thing, and then you get held back by your own insecurities. Just throw yourself at the thing. It's worth the risk, I think. And here's the part where everyone comments and is like, that's shit advice, Lucy. How do I chill the fuck out? I'm not quite sure what context this is in, whether this is about anxiety, which I can advise on, or about detaching from work and stress, which I can also advise on. The biggest thing I did this year was start taking weekends. That has been like phenomenally life-changing in how I relax. I am the happiest I've maybe ever been in my life right now, because I actually take time off, and it's reserved one day a week at least just for me. And for, if I want to stay in bed all day, I stay in bed all day. If I want to go to a gallery or go to the pub with my friends, I do that. And it makes the world of difference to me and my quality of life. In terms of anxiety, I should probably make a whole video on this. Again, there's so much to unpack. But for me, the things that helped with anxiety the most were therapy, Bark's Rescue Remedy, having routines and little things that I do in those moments where I feel particularly anxious that relax me. Noise cancelling headphones, my God, they've changed my life. I got them the other day. Suddenly my anxiety when I travel is like nil. It's incredible. So if you notice there's certain things that trigger your anxiety, find ways to combat those one at a time. Everyone is so individual, and different things will help different people. How do you become okay with your body? I go through proper highs and proper lows with how I feel about how I look. I'm still in one of the best body places I've ever been mentally, but it really does fluctuate. And I think accepting and welcoming the fluctuations and the change and being kind to myself is the best thing I've done to accept that this is the way I am right now, and that's not going to magically change if I drink a detox tea or take a certain pill or whatever, start dieting. Like, it's not going to change. What I also think about a lot is how I look like my family, and that may sound really weird offhand, but I really admire all the women in my family. I think they're wonderful. I think they're really beautiful. And they all have similar body types to me. And so I feel this like pride in the way that I've kind of carried on the genes, and, you know, not literally obviously, but, you know, I've carried on this like DNA, and I look this way, and I look like an Evandon, I look like a Macaulay, I look like a Gomez. Like, these things are what make me me. and it makes me feel this pride in my body, and I see my body as kind of like a temple and as something precious and as something valuable to treasure. Okay, I think we have time for one more question before I am already late. Any tips for not going insane when working from home? I've been working from home for like 5.5 years now, kind of, because uni. I feel like uni and working from home are quite similar experiences. When you're working from home, you end up setting more parameters because to continue uni life would drive me mad. So the way that I have dealt with working from home, again, it's to set times to wake up, times to stop working. Obviously, sometimes I bend those rules, that's absolutely fine, is what it is. But I generally try and have some routine, try and get outside once a day, try and have daylight and embrace the daylight, especially like, look at how dark this video is. This is the middle of the day. It's currently 12:30 and it is so dark. I try and see people once a day, whether that's just my boyfriend or just my housemates, or I go out for dinner with someone. And that keeps me normal and keeps me functioning. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I don't know if the sponsored content's gone out yet, but I had 2 sponsored videos coming up and I hope that's all right with you. I'm sorry they landed at the same time. I've been negotiating one of them since April. It just happened to happen literally within a week of the other one. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have any responses to the advice that I've given or the questions that were asked. Leave it all in the comments. And I will see you in my next video. If you want to take part in another advice video, go and follow me on Instagram because that's where I ask the questions. So I'll leave my Instagram link in the description.